Hello guys. Today in today's story we are going to be reading about the most amazing accident that ever happened. So, let's go ahead and start. So, Phineas P. Gage, age 25, a foreman on the Rutland and Burlington Railroad, was employed September 13th, 1847, in charging a hole with powder preparatory to blasting. A premature explosion drove a tamping iron 3 feet 7 inches long, 1 1/4 inches in diameter, weighing 13 1/4 pounds completely through the man's head. Despite this terrible injury, Gage did not even lose consciousness. He made a complete recovery and lived many years afterward. So guys, check this out. This entire crowbar went through this guy's skull. And he just he didn't die, but what's even more amazing is that he made a complete recovery and he didn't even lose consciousness. So now here's what here's what a witness said. The crowbar entered the left side of the face, immediately anterior to the inferior maxillary, and passed under the zygomatic arch, fracturing portions of the sphenoid bone on the floor of the left orbit. It then passed through the left anterior lobe of the cerebrum, and in the median line made its exit at the junction of the coronal and sagittal sutures, lacerating on the longitudinal sinus, fracturing the parietal and frontal bones, and breaking up considerable parts of the brain. The patient was thrown backward and gave a few convulsive movements of the extremities. He was taken to a hotel almost a mile distant. During the transportation, he seemed slightly dazed, but not at all unconscious. Upon arriving at the hotel, he dismounted from the conveyance and without assistance walked up a long flight of stairs to the hall where his wound was to be dressed. Dr. Harlow saw him about 6 o'clock in the evening, and from his condition could hardly credit the story of his injury, although his person and his bed were drenched with blood. His scalp was shaved and debris removed. Among other portions of bone was a piece of the anterior superior angle of each parietal bone and a semicircular piece of the frontal bone, leaving an opening 3.5 inches in diameter. At 10 p.m. on the day of the injury, Gage was perfectly rational and asked about his work and after his friends. His convalescence was rapid and uneventful. Professor Bigelow examined the patient 3 years later and made a most excellent report of the case, which had attained worldwide notoriety. Bigelow found that the patient quite recovered in his faculties of body and mind, except that he had lost sight of the injured eye. The original crowbar, together with a cast of the patient's head, was placed in the Museum of the Harvard Medical School, Brooklyn, Massachusetts, where it is still on exhibition. And the reference is the Boston Medical and Surgical Record. So guys, in my opinion, this is amazing that this guy, he survived this crowbar going through his head, and he didn't even lose consciousness. Like I said, even though the crowbar went through his head, he could still walk up a flight of stairs, and he still he didn't even pass out after the crowbar hit him. And as you could see, it went through the top of his skull, and it went through his eye, and then it kind of came out this cheekbone So you can see, yeah, the most amazing accident that ever happened. I would totally agree with that. Where somebody actually survived it. So, and this happened on September 13th, 1847, And the name of the guy is Phineas P. Gage. I think he has like a Wikipedia page on him. I'm not sure. But like you could go look him up. Phineas P. Gage. That's his name right there. Wait for it to focus. Yeah. So you could go look him up on Google and you could read more about him. But it's a really, really, really interesting story. So thank you for checking out this story. And I will see all of you in my next one. And remember, if you like my content, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.